So we're live. Hello, Happy New Year. It's been a
Yo,
while
happy
since we've been
New
here.
Year.
Thank you for
It
joining
has,
us.
dude, it has been a while. I feel like though it's been the right amount of time. I feel like the month or two that we took off was sorely needed. A bit of recharging, a bit of soul searching. And now we're here.
Got to grow again. Like it's been quite a process, huh? And like things have been very energetically charged to say the least. Things have changed
Dude,
a lot in the last, month and a half as well.
dude, it's just constant. It never stops. Like if you think about how much it's changed since we started this podcast. I remember sitting where I'm sitting right now doing the very first podcast and being so excited for it, and here we are a year later. And to think about the stuff we've talked about, what we've done, what we've experienced in just a tiny year. I mean, like I'm sorry. I mean, like an insignificant speck and blip in what this universe will be, and how much of it you actually got to experience, dude.
It's bonkers, dude. It really is
It's
bonkers. And
bonkers.
like I'm happy that you're bringing up the fact that, where we were last year around this time. I've been really referencing like that as well, dude, especially since I'm going into year 2 of doing what it is I'm doing right now. And it's been this recognition slash realization of I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and now I'm doing it with that knowledge. Last year around this time, it was still this like, oh, I'm doing this now type of feeling, and now it's like, oh, this is what I do now. It's the difference like what a year could make, dude. It's been very beautiful.
Dude, it has been incredible. Just actually getting to do what you love. I'm not gonna lie, I also was really scared of last year when we started this because it was new and it was third year. Now I have a degree. Fuck, dude. I'm a scientist.
You're a
I
freaking
don't feel like a
scientist, dude.
scientist, dude. I don't feel like a scientist. I'm also 21, so I'm supposed to be grown up. And yeah, no.
Skis? Who said that?
Asgis
Who said that?
ish.
Yes,
Ish.
dude. I genuinely believe like our incubation period slash juvenile period has been extended as well. Like human beings have the longest juvenile period of any species, and it's part of our development. It's part of what makes us, human beings.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of bonkers, dude. We have like 2 to 3 years where we're pretty much useless, and then from there we have this time period where we're just trying to learn, like where we have pretty much no understanding of what's happening around us, and yet we have this ability to absorb it to a point that we have not seen any other creature capable have the capabilities of. I mean, dude, you can learn how to use the internet. What the fuck, dude? No other animal can do that. No other animal
Dude,
can use a
like I
computer.
mean, we can break it down even further to the most fundamental first thing we did with utilizing of resources. We made fire. We had
We
these,
made
these things all
fire.
around us, these inanimate objects that would lay on the ground, and we could, use it to like beat another monkey with it. And then at some point there was this click. I can turn this into heat energy, and that would allow me to be in certain areas during certain times, allow me to hunt certain things in certain times, allow me to stay warm, allow me to keep my family safe,
Wait
with
a minute.
with light, keeping wild
Water.
animals away. It was this fundamental next step that we as human beings, as beings, made so that we can actually utilize, we can learn how to take one thing and do another thing with it. And now our fire is the internet. We have this fundamentally game changing tool, but we don't necessarily know how to use it properly yet. We're like stumbling around a little bit, and the internet, as we understand it, has become more potent, if you will. Like think back, the internet that we had as 11-year-olds versus the internet that is out now. Things are getting
Dude,
very
exponential.
saturated. Yeah, commercial is a good word as well. And yeah, I just the point I'm trying to make is that social media isn't bad. It's just another tool. It's the same way you can burn yourself with fire, you can burn yourself with the internet as well. And I feel like we just have to be super aware. And this year has just shown me, how fire the internet is, if you will.
It's so interesting. I saw my nephew. No, what do you call it? Cousin.
Cousin.
The other day, and he now has a kid. The
Oh my
kid's five
goodness.
months. But he's 33, so that's fine. But he has a kid, and the kid is the cutest fucking thing I have ever seen because it's like this little unwavering consciousness that's just looking at everything, being amazed constantly at what the fuck is happening. It's just learning how to crawl. And when I saw it last, it figured out how to flip itself from its back to its stomach. Like the to just think in what period we were, and then we can become this like complex fractal of a thing that's infinitely deep. It's just, dude, it's incredible. And then besides that, my cousin's wife told my grandmother that she was impressed with how much general knowledge I have. And not to do anything with that, but the point I'm trying to make with this is that you can use something like the internet to just gear yourself to knowledge. If you just like my entire Reddit account is just set up to learn new things. It's cool constantly. I see a lot of cute videos as well, but every now and again I'll get like a Wikipedia article or I'll see something on
Mm.
James Webb or I'll
Today
see
I
a picture
learned.
of space. Dude, today I learned just small stuff like that, and then before you see it, if you learn 365 new things in a year, that's a fuckload of knowledge.
And one of the things that I really like telling myself, if you will, based on this, amount of information we put into our consciousness, is I ask myself, how much of it am I retaining? How much of it, stays useful in my mind? And I've concluded that even though I might not actively remember all of it, it is now part of the larger web of my neuroplasticity. So even though I might not be actively recalling it, if I ever was in a neural plastic way, in a situation that requires me to utilize those neurons, they would instantly be available to me to actually use them. And in that way, we are just expanding this, if you will, library, vocabulary of our ability to experience things.
Yep. No, dude, it's incredible. And the more you learn about this, the reality, or the more you try and learn, because there's people that never ever learn, like we barely know probably 1 or 2% of what's happening, but there are people that don't scratch the 0.1% margin. But the more you learn about stuff like that, the more you understand how incredibly complex this is, yet everything links with everything because of the complexity. Nothing happens without something else happening, or nothing flows in a certain way without something else happening. I was sitting watching my pool. Dude, even stagnant water never stands still. There is never a point where nothing is happening in front of you. And that's incredible to me.
Things flowing over each other, dude, like turbulent.
Dude, even in space, dude, you have this constant bombardment of immortal photons. It's just this thing is too cool, dude. And the year that we spent trying to learn and learned a lot, it's really shown me how
Mm-hmm.
infinitely complex this place is, dude.
Johan, you're talking
How much?
about space right now, dude. The James
Mm-hmm.
Webb
Oh,
Telescope has been
dude,
launched. We're going to get
dude,
photos in June-ish, July-ish, dude. Photos like we've never seen the universe in
like we've
before.
never seen, dude. And I think it's currently 300,000 kilometers away from where it needs to be. I checked yesterday, and
Yeah,
it
like
was
75% of
350,000.
its like cycle is finished or something like that. It's
Dude,
trip.
it's so cool,
Did you
man.
check
It launched at
yesterday?
Christmas. Yes, I checked
Did
yesterday.
you check yesterday
It's
after not checking for like a week and a half or something?
yeah, more or less.
That is exactly how I checked yesterday as well. That I was like, I wonder where James Webb is right now. And then I
Yeah,
went onto
dude.
the NASA site and I saw the little bar.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck,
Dude,
dude? So, more synchronicities.
more synchronicities, dude. And then on top of that, it's also fully been deployed.
Yep,
It
yep,
was
yep. We
deployed this
actually
morning, dude.
100% successful deployment of the James Webb Telescope. So everything that could have
Yep.
gone wrong didn't go
And
wrong. We're
dude,
set. We have a gift, humanity. We have an actual gift. And dude,
yeah,
on that note as
dude.
well, like it's so trippy that you bring this up, especially since we're talking about stuff we want to do this year. I actually was thinking about creating a whole little mini series where we just like like a almost like reaction type of videos, if you will, where we just look at the James Webb Telescope's photos, dude, and like do a little video around that. Not like a complete stream, like a one and a half hour video. Maybe like something a little bit more digestible, like 5 minutes or so.
Dude, just maybe just take some collages of the pictures and throw like a little 10-minute thing together, just showing the favorite things, dude. Because
Yeah, and like
just
talking about what we see and and the fascination we feel from it.
dude, just I look at some of the pictures we've taken from Hubble, dude, and then you read about how much more powerful James is than Hubble, and you're like,
Yes.
yeah, this is magnitudely
Infinities,
bigger.
dude. We're gonna look
Dude,
into the infinite universe. We're going to look into
the
the
fucking
infancy of the
sun.
infinite universe.
Dude, the place where suns started is where we're gonna be looking back. Dude, it's still incredible to me that we're just like, yeah, we're gonna look back in time. That those stars are there so far away that it took so long for them to get to us. That yeah, those are like 19 billion years old or something stupid like that. I think it's
Completely
less, but
redshifted.
yeah, dude, completely redshifted into almost oblivion, and then we take it and we're like, yeah, we'll image process this back. Yeah, this is what it looks like.
Dude, golden
Dude,
mirrors. Like they're gonna. Did you? I don't know if you saw that video where they were explaining the photon collection and how
I have
little.
not.
Yes, dude. I think he explains, and I'm paraphrasing, and this is definitely not gonna be the right stats. But he explains something like they collect something like 1 photon per second or something like that. Literally that small, like on the sensor, 1 photon per second from these ancient light sources. Where if you had a
Dude,
5 watt lamp on the moon, it would like help make the same receptor receive something like 20 million photons per second or something like that. That's the like comparison they made. It's something ridiculous like that. It's like don't quote me
nutty.
on those
So
numbers, but
we're
that's the trip.
we're we're just focusing to the point where we're picking like individual photons out to actually see what's happening. Yeah, but did you think about how far away that is? And how like if you just think about the percentage change here is 1,000,000% over a certain distance, like how infinitely small you'd need to pick stuff up to actually see over that distance. Dude.
Like the amount of engineering that has gone into this telescope, it's
Yeah,
literally
dude.
been, I think, it's been a decade or longer that they've worked on this thing, dude, to make it what it is.
1996, I think.
Yeah, and like with the amount of bullshit we've gone through as a species, with this whole COVID thing devastating our entire world, this is genuinely something that humanity is going to benefit from. Like just this is a gift to all of humanity because one person, one company individually would never be able to afford this thing, dude. It's too expensive.
Yeah,
And the only way for us to afford something like that is to afford it as a humanity, as a collective. And to me, that's also a very beautiful thing.
it is, dude. We're learning that it's not useful to just hate. It's way more useful to actually just work together. We can accomplish so much more. Yeah, man. It's crazy.
I look forward to this year, dude. This year is gonna be very beautiful. Like I have absolutely no doubt. Like the amount of synchronicities I felt, just going into the new year. I decided to opt into a 4.44 gram trip for the new year. I basically finish my stream, I blend up this, and I measure it out exactly like that, 4.44 gram, or this like micron scale. Get it like perfect, blend it up with some lemon juice. I drink it down, and I look for my phone, trying to like set this timer up, so I know how deep I'm in, and I can't find it anywhere. Yuan, my phone is gone. Like I look for it for like 30 minutes, and I feel as I'm coming up on this like mushroom experience how the looking for this phone becomes more and more and more ridiculous up until this point where I realize, dude, you're not supposed to have your phone. You've
Yeah.
hidden it from yourself for a reason. Leave your phone. You had your phone for this whole year. Take a day without your phone, dude. And it was the most beautiful time. The first like hour and a
Uh-huh.
half was, the hard part. And I went through this experience of it showing me all of the different things that I think I want, and then showing me how even if I don't achieve anything that I think I want, even if I literally just stay exactly where I am, doing exactly what I'm doing every single day into oblivion.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Your mic is a little bit low.
Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you, Christian.
We
Thank you for
can't.
joining us, Brother Bear.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on over there?
Can you hear
What?
us?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Johan, but it seems to give me constant noise from Esteon's side.
Oh no, he's fine. Oh, have you not been hearing him explain his story? He's talking about his 444 trip, and yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna finish the story and then we'll see if like just disconnect and reconnect maybe, Christian, see if that helps. So phone is lost. I go through this.
What?
He says disconnect and reconnect because it might be from your side because I hear him fine. Okay, go.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello. Chris, can you hear Estian?
I can
Wow, we
hear
are
you
professional.
fine, Johan. I can hear you absolutely fine. As for Esteon's side, he seems to be a fucking disappointment.
Oh, no, that's a violation.
Always nice having you here, Christian. Thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. So
Can you hear me?
lovely.
Okay, how about I try this? I'm gonna log off and you give me a call.
Okay, I'll just try and call you. I'll pull you into the chat.
Yeah, just
Uh,
he's gonna be.
no, I'm just calling him directly. Are you serious? Can you hear me?
Homie,
Can you hear me?
homie, homie, oh.
Can you hear me?
Oh my god, I think this is it. I think it's just meant to be. It ain't working out here.
This is so stupid. This
Please,
is very
please,
stupid.
please.
I feel this is perfect as well. It's gonna almost like fall into the rest of the story. Thank you, Christian,
Dude,
for being so comical.
Chris, can you hear Estian?
Not even a little bit. I'm actually struggling to hear you as well, bro.
Where are
Um,
you right now, dude?
no. Where are you?
Where do you think I'm in fucking Pretoria, bro? I'm
Stop
not in the
using your cell
boonies or some
phone. Get
shit.
your computer out, dude.
Where's your computer? Are you using your computer? Yes, you are. You're not done with phones. What the fuck happened to your mic?
Now yours is bad as
Nothing is wrong
well.
with my mic. Okay, you know what? Let me go try my headphones. Huh? How about that? I'll try that.
My pain is eternal.
Wait.
Okay, so to
Es-
the friend still holding on to this story, I'm still trying to hold on to this story. I basically go through this entire trip where it shows me even if I achieve nothing, you know, in the context of what I want to achieve, if I don't achieve any of it, I will still live an infinitely beautiful life. And being confronted
yeah.
with that reality was very sound. You know, I was like, oh, okay, I can't fail. There's no failing. All I can do is be myself, live into this experience, and it will be beautiful no matter what. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us? Can
Chris,
you hear us?
Yes?
Yes.
can you hear us?
The amount
I
of
can hear
pain.
you
The
so
amount of
fine,
pain.
Johan.
Oh
You sound
goodness.
crystal crispy clear.
And Estian?
Jack fucking shit.
Not allowed to hear my voice, dude.
He's not
He's
happy.
not allowed to hear
What
my
is
freaking voice.
happening, dude?
It's
Did you
because
not
he
like just right click on SS if you didn't just put him to like 0.1% or something?
Did I put him?
Oh my god.
Christian is so
I'm
stupid.
so
Friends. He has
yes.
honors
He
in
has an
computer
honors
science.
degree in computer science. We need everyone to know this. And he can't figure out why his Discord doesn't work.
Doesn't know how to use
Chris, this is why
Discord.
we love you.
We love you so much. Thank you, you
Suck,
chaotic freaking
suck
entity.
my pixie dick, Estian. Jij is fucking dom. Couldn't fucking tell me like 7 hours ago. I forgot. You know what? They should really have an icon on this bloody channel to tell me when I've muted someone, because you just sit here and you're like, why in the flying fuck can't I hear this other person? Meanwhile, you've muted them like 7 weeks ago because they happen to live with you at the time.
We freaking love you. So, Hovey, I was trying to talk about my New Year's trip, dude. The 444 trip. It basically started with me losing my phone completely, and then after I gave up on me trying to find slash get my phone in my hands, I went to my room and I started going into the experience, and I was thinking about all of the things we've been through this year. The things I was thinking, the things I want to achieve, the things I want to do, and it was showing me all of these things very, very like viscerally. Like, look, these are the things you want. These are the things that you think you need. These are the things you aspire for. And then it showed me the life I'm living right now. And it showed me a reality in which I stay exactly where I am. I achieve nothing other than sharing, presence with the rest of the world every single day for the rest of my life. And I die. And it shows me dying here, in this place. And I have such calm. I have such a relaxed state in my heart looking at this. And it gives me this sense of no matter what I do, there's no failing in this life. I'm not going to fail at anything. All I can do is be myself. And after I've came to that conclusion, it was like this question came up in me of like, okay, so if I know that is true, what do I do with that information? And it told me this information that you've just received, the most fundamental importance of it is that you spend time with people that you love. And in that way, you're going to be winning no matter what. So, tripping 4 grams of mushrooms, I get up and I know my parents are watching a movie, an Afrikaans movie. And I hear it from, outside moving through the space. And my heart drops, like I really do not want to watch an Afrikaans movie tripping on this much mushrooms. And I'm like, you know what? This is your mom and your dad's way of experiencing, New Year's right now. This is their medium to do that. Just go and join them. Even though you might not be vested, just go and join them, spend time in their presence. And I sit down and we watch this movie that's called It's a Lot, actually, an Afrikaans movie on Netflix. And it is a lot, actually. It's a weird movie. And I'm tripping out watching this, feeling really into the story that the movie was putting across. And at one point there was this romantic scene and it was showing this woman and a man together and they were like alone. It was very romantic, yada yada yada. And I look over to my dad and I ask him, have you ever thought to yourself, you don't want us around, and he asked me, like, what do you mean? I'm like, as kids, since you had kids, you didn't really have a world of your own. We were kind of a part of your world just by default. And he's like, no, of course not. Like this is, like he said, goeie kinders is 1 in a million. Like good children are 1 in a million. And he wouldn't want to get rid of any of us. And again, tripping on that much mushrooms, it was a genuine, beautiful moment that I got to share with my dad. After that, watched this movie about Team SEAL. It's called this insight into just the life of SEALs. This one SEAL's best friend gets eaten by a shark and act like this is the part of the story, and it was brutal. And I'm watching this just like thinking to myself how we are these beings, living on this planet, and the seals living in the ocean are these beings as well, having these, as I was thinking about Christian in that moment, like things are actually getting eaten out there. Like just think about that for a second. Dude, things just can eat you. And I was thinking about so many things, spending time with my family. I went and I talked to my brother, and I tell him, dude, I am extremely high right now. And he's like, oh yeah, I can see it. And he's like, give me an example or something like that. He asked me. I'm like, okay. So while I was stripping, I saw this beautiful fractal reality, and this fractal reality would almost reduce its complexity, and at a certain point, that reduction in complexity will consolidate into a being. And then that being would move in a way that he would try to communicate things to me. And in trying to communicate things to me, it was further reducing the complexity of the fractal. and it reduced and it reduced and it reduced, and it became our entire universe, and it became a planet, and it became like life growing on the planet, and it became a little stick that broke off from a tree, and this little stick was like moving back and forth, almost like trying to animate, like it was trying to stand up or something. And that was the almost in my mind in that moment, it was this spiritual realm explaining to me that even if we tried to explain something to you, it would be the equivalent of a stick moving about a little bit, like that is the amount of information we can convey. And I'm like, I explained this to my little brother. He's like, oh yeah, you're quite out there. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. You wouldn't believe.
Dude.
It was
No,
beautiful.
sharing
It was genuinely
experiences.
beautiful, and I felt that, like, that's the point I wanted to get to. In that moment, as we're going through this whole experience, I just feel this positive, celebratory energy for the year 2022, and I genuinely believe that this is going to be an amazing year for all of us, brothers.
Dude, me too. Me too. I feel like even no matter what happens, I think overall it will always. I don't know how to explain it, dude. When I was sitting on the beach, the last sunset I saw for 2021, the just New Year's celebration of seeing everybody on a beach together, some of the fireworks we got to see, and just sitting watching the waves break on the ocean was just one of those moments where I was just like, yes, this fits. This is what I imagine life to be, and I feel like this is gonna translate so well over.
No,
And
absolutely. On that note,
dude,
like you told me yesterday that at some point we should actually have a little bit of a get together as friends, next to the beach. Have you told Christian about that idea?
because my mom has given us the house for New Year's next year or this year, so I think I can sleep 4 people comfortably, 4 or 5, and then we come to my place and we spend like a week here. So then we can go to the beach, see some incredible mountains, go hiking in the forests. Dude, it's gonna be so sick. I'm so excited.
If you're serious about it, you better say so now because
No,
you
I am.
cannot retract your word later on.
Don't
No,
Otherwise,
you
you will
threaten
be
me with a
held
good
by.
time.
Yeah, don't
no,
threaten me with a good time, Jan.
no. My
I,
mom's
I'll
already.
I'll come
My
through, bro.
mom's
I'll meet your mother.
no. So my mom wants to go on vacation for. She doesn't want to spend another New Year's in her house. So she.
Motherfucker. Okay, whatever. It's cool. We'll deal with it.
What do you mean?
How have you been, brother
Nothing.
Bear, Christian? How has work been, dude?
Brother Bear's been brothering, bro. They're we're out and about, dude. It's a fresh year, a fresh start, some new faces, some new projects. Um, and yeah, it's good to see the colleagues again after a couple of weeks away. I do love them. I do cherish them. I appreciate the work that I can spend with them. Um, so it's been refreshing, dude. I've been exercising again. I have not been sticking to not smoking or not drinking, but you know what? I'm also not pressuring myself at the same time. If I want to fucking do it, I will do it. I guess that's what the soul desires. Um, and yeah, the rest of it's been pretty normal. I wrote a poem today. I visited dad. I've been out and about with other people. I've been seeing ladies. Um, Not much else to say. Oh, I finished Arcane, League of Legends.
Yes.
That shit was so fucking peak,
So
bro.
Pretty
cool,
tasty.
dude.
It's so cute.
Dude, I
Dude, killing
love.
killing main characters, or like big characters, was like very shocking to me as well, and how that played into the story was pretty fascinating.
Dude, the violence that's actually involved in that show is really not to be undermined. It's not for children.
Dude, I don't. It sounds weird, but I really like adult cartoons or adult animation. It doesn't necessarily, but like the premium, high quality animation, high budget, high storytelling. It's so good, and when it's done properly and it looks
Dude, this
as
apparently took
beautiful.
like 6 years to
Yeah,
produce, bro.
They started. I remember when I was still playing League, they were talking about starting a series, and that
Boys,
was in 2014.
I have been legitimately considering writing like a type of animated series as well. that I want to call the melting psychonauts. You know, Christian actually inspired me in that way as well. And I would genuinely, when we do, I'm saying when we do that, I would like to have you boys as writers as well.
I'll
Easy,
join.
bro.
I'll join. I've
Easy.
always wanted
Like,
to write
and
something, but
I
Don't threaten me
imagine.
with a good time.
No, I'm being serious, dude. Like, I'm imagining this world, you know, as like one of these super colorful. So, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. The first and foremost thing that I would like to do is probably anthropomorphizing a little bit, you know, characters into slightly animal-esque. Like, actually, this little profile picture of mine, kind of stylized like that. You know, a little bit better
pretty
body
cool.
proportions, but kind of styled like that. And then around it, being able to have like auras or like fractaling out of their beings. Find themselves in normal like environments like, you know, houses, rooms, parks and so on. But every environment looks like the characters are tripping, you know, their absolute minds out. And it's gonna be this insight slash double lens into normal people, you know, normal lives, our lives, if you will, and how our perspective has changed by being psychonauts, and how we see the world as a result of that, and how we see the world is basically how the
Okay,
world ends up
I
seeing
love
us,
this.
and then that
I love this
affects.
idea, Estian. I'm loving it so far. I'm gonna stop you right there because we're going to be in need of some fucking retardedly talented animators.
Yes, 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 and
Animators are gonna
we're
miss.
getting them, dude. We're getting there. We're growing. Homie, I'm not even joking about this. Like maybe 6 years in the future, this will only be a reality. But this is a big thing in my mind as well. I think the best way to do it would be with 3D. You know, like 3D is really starting to come together right now, dude. And if we can get it to a point where
Stuff like that.
yeah, it's easier because the
Yeah.
nice thing about that is you basically create your resources, you know, from the get-go, and then the rest is like body tracking. You can literally live into your characters with actual human body tracking, and that is a game changer.
Yeah, it's just I am absolutely down. I will be telling you that I am not nearly talented or have the resources to put into learning animation. That's the something actually. After I've been speaking to a lot of people about it, and it's something that's really been I used to have this warped idea that you should try and do a lot of your stuff on your own because it adds more meaning. But I've recently come to the idea and understanding that I was wrong, very much so, in the way that it is way more important to get like-minded individuals who are better at the thing you need to work on than to try and do it yourself. Because
Exactly.
if you can get the same energies, but you have totally different skills, you can combine those into what needs to be done rather than half-assing or attempting to do
Exactly.
it all
It's like an
yourself.
unburning passion for something can only be that something. And if we can have a bunch of people who have an unburning passion for a bunch of different things, the collective unquenchable passion is going to be that much larger.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
And I
And so
appreciate you, friend. Like that's literally. I feel like I'm so lucky to have found you, divine beings, in this world. It's like finding these gems.
every time I speak to you guys, my day's better. Every time. It's not just like it's just it's better no matter what happens. And I feel like it's because the positivity that happens, man, being out in the world again, I have seen how negative this place is. Fuck, dude. It's like this black cloud that hangs over 90% of people. And I,
Is
Oh shit.
uh,
Oops.
I-
Oops. You were saying this black cloud that hangs over people,
no,
and
I'm
then
not done,
I
dude.
zoinked.
So what I'm saying is this is like constant black cloud hanging over 90% of people who just I don't know how to describe it, but they're so sad because they have these warped perceptions of where they need to be, what they need to be portraying, what other people need to be thinking about them, who they should be. Like I don't
okay,
without wanting
I'm gonna have to be the voice of reason in this situation and say that a lot of people are in a position of less privilege, Johan. And it's
that doesn't no, that does not matter. And the person I'm talking to is
it's
one of
easy
Louis
to
van Gaat's
say,
best friends.
look, that's
It's
It's
not
easy.
about money that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the idea that some people walk into a room and instead of talking to people, they command them. Or I don't know how to describe it, but or other people, I don't
They
know.
feel entitled to other people listening.
I feel where Johanna's coming from is just, talking about, let's mention the current. Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes.
sorry. Like for some reason, something looked like it was glitching for a second. Like there's a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of adversity. There's a lot of, what's the other word I'm looking for? Disagreement slash separation happening in the world right now with a bunch of things. Let's not even go into what those things are, but a bunch of things. And what's happening right now is people are talking about these things over and over and over again. And the more they talk about it, the more they add onto it, the more speculation comes into it, the more they add to that negative thought train, of fear, of, guilt, of judgment, of all of these negative emotions that keeps coming back over and over and over again. And on that note, I completely agree with Johan. Like not even on a financial level, people that are like financially well off are even more likely to complain like that about these sort of things because it feels like people are losing their power, especially with the amount of mandates and stuff happening right now, and that is making people kind of crazy, and it creates loops. They realize they're already free. In this moment, you're free.
Yeah, but you can't tell me that you don't understand why they feel that way.
Of course I do. Of
I
course I
do.
do. But what we're saying is this feeling that way and thinking about stuff like that, and then there's perpetually bringing it up over and over and over again, creating more and more negative turmoil in yourself and in that social environment.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. People that refuse to be happy. Not that they aren't, they don't want to be. Every moment that they can, they try their best to be
That's not
unpleasant.
that's not the majority of people.
You
It's not.
it's a I have your dude. I don't want to. I don't know. I've heard some terrible things this weekend or this holiday, so maybe it's not everybody, but I have seen what some of the people are like, and I understand where the turmoil comes from. I understand why some people are angry, why some people are sad, why some people had terrible childhoods, and why some people are the way that they are. But I can't say that. I'm not gonna say that. I feel like some people are making the choice to not try and be better, but to rather hold on to the resentment that they feel, and that saddens me
Okay. That's a good reaction.
because there is so much beauty to find in a place, and when you walk into an area and the first three things out of your mouth is, "Oh, this sucks. The acoustics is bad. I don't want to be here." That
Okay, but
just
that was basically me to every fucking party I went to as a high schooler.
yeah, but that doesn't change that's the wrong mindset.
Yeah, like
Why is that the wrong mindset?
especially since the fact that you
Because
had to add that you were in a high school like that.
For what?
you're building yourself a place that is going to just be negative. It might turn out to be positive if you give it a chance, but that's probably
Okay,
the
but
difference.
here's the big difference is I was completely honest about how I felt in the situations every single time. Instead of trying so bloody hard to force myself and formulate an emotion within myself that is currently not present, I went with the flow and said, yeah, actually, you know what? This is shit.
Did you leave?
But why was it
Eventually.
shit? Like, what made you say it was shit? Like, especially, I mean, like when I hear stuff like that, I want to kind of like take a person and drop them in the middle of like nowhere, where there's like 10,000 kilometers in every single direction, just nothing. and then I want to like hear them complain about something, like especially acoustics, for example, or oh, this place is shit, like oh, there's a building standing, there's electricity. You get to hear sounds, just randomly projected into the air, vibrations that I'm making right now, and you're hallucinating understanding. What the fuck? How can you complain about anything?
I agree on both terms that there are moments that are bad and there is reasons to not be at a place, but you normally feel shitty because you know that you shouldn't be there. But in the same vein, that isn't necessary. You can't. I don't know how to make it sound the way it appears in my head. This is really hard talking about it, but
Yeah, it's not so easy to standardize a topic that is completely supposed to be personalized.
I know
Um,
it's really difficult, and I'm gonna stop talking about it. It's just
So
I'm gonna.
I wanna like just finish it off with this. If anything, and I've been this year we actually had like a whole stream around it, asking this question about how do we change the world? And fundamentally, the only way to change the world is by changing individual lives. And that is what we're doing. Every single person that's listening to this podcast right now, even if it's no person, even if it's one person, we can change an individual's worldview. And by trying to, and then the next question is like, oh, how do you change their lives? And that answer, I feel, is what we're trying to get at. Is trying to see the world in the way that it can be seen, trying to see the world for the beauty that it can hold, like
I
seeing the infinite beauty in the most mundane and smallest of things, like looking at a
okay,
piece
but
of
you're
bark and seeing all of the intricacies in that piece of bark, and that is what we're trying to inspire in people,
all right,
is a
but are you
fascination for the world.
expecting that from other people though?
I can't expect anything from other people, dude.
All right, great.
yeah, it's weird. Uh, Esteban kind of just formulated. I love Esteban's ability to put words to things I can't. Um, because all I'll say is my final thing. I feel like optimism is just a better way of living than pessimism, and I've seen a lot of pessimism. That's all I was really trying to say, but I now found the words for it. So it's really nice to be in an area that is more positive than negative and excited about the outlook of life and
Hmm.
just reality in of itself. Because yeah, it's kind of nutty.
To me, the biggest thing, like I'm happy you're saying nutty, is it's the cosmic giggle. It feels sometimes like it's a joke. And the joke is that you have to see the beauty in the joke. It's like it's funny, but only if you allow yourself to laugh at it, if you will. And that's it. It's a little bit.
In Bulgarian, we say "От играчката става плачка," which means from all the playing around, eventually someone was going to cry.
Dude, eventually everyone is going to die. Never mind going to cry, like the inevitable heat death of the universe and then starting it all
Okay,
over
Gran
again.
Estian, but that is a very large scale. We live mortal lives. Two different things.
I'm not
Yeah.
denying the fact that we live mortal lives. What I'm saying is that in our mortal lives, we have to see the mortal life things. Look at flowers. One of the most beautiful depictions of mortality. Something that blooms for a few days, sometimes for a few hours, and then withers away. That is what we're trying to say. Is like, yes, death is a thing. Yes, we cannot live for infinity. But in this moment, we already are smack dab in the middle of infinity. And we're trying
All
to
right.
inspire people to see that.
All right, but maybe people are going through a different phase in their life. Maybe this is their time, their rendition, their revolution, their reincarnation, where they decide to actually mourn and feel sad about the times that have passed. That's such a fucking crime.
No,
Why should they
no,
be
that is
shunned?
not. I
We're not
never
shunning
said
anyone,
push
dude. Like,
down.
we've not shunned anyone. And like one of the biggest things in the streams as well is quite literally to take the people that have, embracive intent and to love them as well, especially those individuals. And you should see it in the stream. Like if someone wants to be toxic, multiple people reach out to them. Multiple people ask them if they're okay. Multiple people, send love in their direction. We're not shunning. We're trying to embrace. But a part of that embrace, is wanting the person to actually like the hug. You know, that's the point.
No, dude, you better fucking like it, and then it's like a
Okay.
cat.
How about this other side of the argument? What if the dude really just doesn't want to be fucking touched in this moment? He just wants to be
Then,
left the fuck alone.
then you leave them alone.
Dude, the only way for you to be left alone is for you to be in the void of space. So
Just, I will not let you be sad.
the only way, dude, you're being touched by billions of little beings right now. They're touching you. Oh. They're
I'm
touching
sorry,
you.
an incredible idea this morning. I woke up and I was like, holy shit, I have nanobots in me. I don't know what you
Biological
do.
nanobots, dude. Manufacturing your biochemistry. Manufacturing your neurochemicals.
I started peeling the burnt. And it just hit me that my skin, little nanobots, little tiny cells, ran around my fucking burnt arm, fixed me, and then I peeled all the dead stuff off, and now I have an arm that is perfect. Literally nothing wrong with it. Maybe tiny extra chance of cancer, but that's null and void.
It's not only that, but like your skin is like kind of compacting itself. It keeps growing these individual small little cells. And you peel off in these microscopic little flakes
Dude,
right now, like coming off of you. It's ridiculous.
Dude, and it just, man, learning to program these little nanobots to do what you want is an incredible feat.
And we can do it now.
Dude, but we've been like learning to get. The entire point of life has been learning how to figuring out how the fuck to make cells do what we want them to do, because I've always, it's been such a big thing to me is how I know that we have individual cells that make, and when when sperms and egg come together, those cells mix and they basically fertilize and they start growing from there, and each of the cells inside has like instructions on how to grow. But what's incredible to me is we got to that point. We had to get from single cells learning to split themselves to then becoming together.
We added so much extra information to that. So like the initial
Yeah.
single cell division was like, oh, I just want two of me. And now, on top of that, oh, I just want two of me, we have the rest of the instructions to build a human being. And it does that.
Millions of cells all working together, all talking, all understanding, all encompassing. I mean, you have a fucking database of every single possible variations of a bacteria that could possibly ever infect you in a thing called your thromboid or your thromboid or your thyroid, in just above your heart, that has basically gone, and I know this isn't exactly how it works, but to paraphrase it, it basically takes the DNA, flips some random bits, points that's the new like antivirus cell at your own cells, every single cell in your human body, checks if it tries to destroy it. If it doesn't, then eventually it's really, really adamant about that. It only takes 3 out of 10,000 cells. And then it installs a cell. And that cell has the ability to fight some fucking random virus that could appear in 100 years on Mars.
Yep.
That's just in you.
You know what's the crazy thing about that for me as well? Just, DNA. We think, okay, let's talk about A students. If someone in your high school got 98% for their math, final, you would be like, this person knows math. If your DNA failed literally or had a passing rate of 99.9990, you would literally die. You would not be. Like, if there is that much fault in your DNA, your body as it is right now will not be constructed as it is right now. Like, the amount of precision just for you to be looking at your own hands is bonkers. The likelihood of us being here is bonkers.
Give it extra energy by eating and do lifts and weights, and it goes cool more. And it just produces matter and muscle for you to be strong.
The fact that your body literally builds and uses your entire mass, your entire body's mass worth of ATP every single day, I still can't wrap my head around.
Dude,
A whole
I
person.
love, dude. This thing is so incredible. And then on top of that, we have math. The cell division and cell understanding got so complex that we were able to figure out reality to a portion.
Protein folding, or as we're doing right now, stuff that we literally thought that that was the holy grail of biological science, and we were like, this is going to be the thing that's going to plague us for the next 1,000 years. We'll never figure this out. Boom.
And
Now
AI
we have
fold-
algorithms that can predict based on like chemical formulas, just chemical formulas. You don't even have to give it more than that, and then it folds those chemical formulas, bro. It predicts, I think, something with like 98% accuracy what the protein is going to look like.
Yeah, dude, it's insane.
And
I love
this
it,
is
dude.
just the start. This is just the start. Like, we are now, okay, so we basically got to experience the boom of the internet. Before that, it was the boom of the Industrial Revolution. Now it's the boom of biological engineering that we're going to witness, dude. And there probably is, as we're speaking right now, biological engineered human beings being grown in vats or in people right now. It's
I
happening.
swear, I haven't been able to find it again, and it might just be an internet rumor, but I swear remembering hearing about China doing like 100 kid
Dude, they're
experiment.
building super soldiers right now, because
Yeah,
if they don't, their opposition is going to.
dude, I don't know about the super soldiers. It's completely plausible, but I remember them doing trials where they just took kids and started flipping some of the genes
I
in
mean,
the
like
embryo
that already
state.
happened. Like a pair of twins basically had their genes edited to be immune to HIV while also making them more intelligent. Upregulating the brain-derived neurotropic factor that their brains release. So, quite literally allowing their brains to grow more neurons.
Yeah, no, dude, it's insane. The gods, and we've only broken biological, dude. What the fuck is out there? Like getting to another solar system is going to be the actual one of the, again like the internet's revolution. Being
So,
able to
yo, dude,
study other planets,
I
dude.
mean, technically, biology already solved that problem. Let's just take Exhibit One, fungi, and their ability to travel interstellar space with their spores. So, like, biology, I believe, is the best technology of this universe.
Dude, I still have a burning fascination with trying to understand where you go with the DMT realm. And the reason I do is because not more for the idea of information passing, dude. How and why is this thing here? Why is it so prevalent in the understanding of information, especially in something as complex as your eyes?
Dude, I believe it's just, as you're saying, it's information. Like the serotonin molecule, as it's represented in our brains, that shape, it's associated with information. So when we see someone, if they're like straight faced looking at us, we experience a certain level of information. Oh, maybe hostility, maybe disappointment, maybe disapproval, from this person. And as soon as they smile, then it's like, oh, approval, oh, acceptance, oh, love. And it's literally a certain amount of information that's being released in your brain. So what I
That
believe is these
information is
plants
presented.
experience that information in the same way. They experience consciousness as well. Their consciousness, their awareness is just limited to their medium, their ability to sense sun, their ability to seek for water underground, their ability to fend off parasites that are eating them, for example. Also senses, not in the same way we would think of them, but still senses nonetheless. But within those senses being experienced, there is a fundamental underlying consciousness. And that fundamental underlying consciousness is the same one we experience. And then when we smoke something like DMT, this plant chemical, we experience even more of that informational consciousness. And we get to, you know, go to the other side, if you
And
will.
yeah. Also, Uncle-Becky,
Is
are you
Uncle-Becky
here?
here?
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
The Becky himself. Me and Uncle-Becky actually had a phone call just before, this podcast as well, where we were talking about names. and how we've basically lived into these names that we've now become. I think you muted yourself, Uncle-Becky.
I did. I didn't want to be having any distracting noises. I'm out here in the middle of the field going to get the goat. She's stuck in the fence again.
Oh,
Like how often does that happen, dude? Like I feel like it's like a
Well,
daily occurrence.
well, it's been quite a bit in the last day or two.
buddy. Oh,
This dude is
Is there
letting
ever a
go.
scenario where a goat doesn't cause chaos?
I know, right? Look,
oh,
I'm gonna set y'all down for just a second. Hang on.
yeah, don't worry about
Freaking goats. Like
it.
I really admire the fact that you can handle as many of them as you do, because I've heard they're just these little chaos monkeys.
They are
They
chaos
are.
goats.
Chaos
These
goats.
little consciousnesses that are just like, I will do anything. I don't care how stupid it is, I will do it. And we will see what happens when I do it.
It's like I want to see if I can get to the top of that thing.
Oh,
Whatever that
gosh,
thing
look
is.
at off. Dude.
Uncle
Oh, that,
Becky, Brandon, you live in a beautiful world, brother bear.
yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
trippy
It's a
to me
blessing.
how similar it is to South Africa as well.
I know, right? Even the ground color and everything. Oh, hey. Man, dog yours.
Oh, Texas.
Also,
Yeah, it's pretty
Happy New
surreal.
Year.
Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy
Happy New
freaking New
Year.
Year, Uncle
Happy New
Becky.
Year.
Whew.
Yeah,
What a
what a
New Year it's
blessing, man.
been. What a New Year it's been. Like I feel we've grown in our ability to believe in ourselves so much this year already, Uncle Becky. I can't even imagine what's more to come.
I tell you what, if we don't believe in ourselves, who's going to?
How could anybody if we don't believe in ourselves?
I know.
Oh,
It's a
shit.
full-time job.
I think
Nobody
he's
else is gonna do it for us.
No. Don't
It's a
say shit
full-time
like
job.
that.
Somebody's got to do it.
Don't
Yeah.
say shit like that.
Yeah, Christian, I'm saying it, dude. Throwing all the mud your way, dude.
Dude, belief is your most powerful tool you have. If you believe in yourself, you'll accomplish everything and anything.
Nah, no, 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 no.
Nah, I
It's
don't
when
think I
other
can achieve
people.
anything, he says.
It's when other people believe in you. That's when you achieve things.
People don't believe in you if
That's
you don't
right.
believe in yourself, Brother Bay.
You got to have proactive procrastination.
I, I wonder if that really exists.
Yes, yes,
It
it
does
does.
now.
It does. If you believe it does, it does. You just gotta work. You gotta put the pro in procrastinate.
I am a proactive procrastinator.
The way I think about it is like from this perspective of washing all the dishes, getting all the chores done in like the first few hours of the day, and then just like chilling, knowing that everything is done. Proactive
That,
procrastination.
yep.
I think that's the best way to tackle it is just with a vengeance and fast and furious and then sit.
Yeah, and like and then if it feels even better because you've exhausted yourself going so fast.
I also always find it that you're like, this thing is gonna take forever, but then you just put your mind to doing it, and you're like, oh, it was 10 minutes. Oh,
You take
okay.
slices.
Yep.
Yeah, and isn't it so gratifying to be tired at the end of your day knowing you did something?
Actually is. I remember the days when I was working on my big project for, it sounds like the days like it was 100 years ago, but last year, um, when I was
Johan
working,
is super old, by the way.
no, I turned 21. How do I keep living? My back is giving out. No, no. So when I was working the 16 hour days to try and get the project done, and you go to bed and you're like, yes, this has been productive. I am so glad tomorrow I will do it again and I will finish this. And when you stand at that end finished product and you're just like, yes, this is it. I did it.
Yeah, just that in itself is so gratifying, regardless of the quality of the project. I mean, yes, that's important, but the finished product is a feat in itself.
Yeah, but you stuck to it. You actually did it. something that I feel is quite important to actually get in your life is to make sure that the stuff you set your mind to, you do.
And it's again, it comes back to that belief in self, dude. You know, if you don't believe in yourself to get the things done that you've set your mind to, then it won't get done. You know, and it's difficult to do that sometimes. It's very difficult. Like we had a stream about making life better for others. And I asked myself, you know, what do I do that makes my own life worse for myself? And I mentioned that sometimes I'll pick something up and I'll be very fascinated by it, but I'll have a hard time continuing with it. And I feel instead of getting discouraged by that energy, by that feeling, you just have to keep looking for the thing that you actually want to do. And I'm so grateful to have found it's so young in my life, you know, and having found Uncle-Becky, being on the same journey, it feels like Uncle-Becky is me, except he got into the game like 12 years later or something, you know, and now he has a family and stuff, and now he's doing the same thing, and it's tripping me out, dude. It's tripping me out. I love this dude so much.
There,
Yeah,
there's
it's cool that we have the same perspective in that way. How old are you, Melt?
I'm 23 right now.
23. I'm 37. I'll be 38 in July. And to be, kind of thinking on the mindset of somebody a decade younger than myself, plus some, it's kind of it is comforting because now that we're on a digital plane, it kind of brings us more to an even plane, if you will.
100%.
And yeah, and we're able to share ideas at a monumental speed now, and so therefore expansion can only happen faster.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's kind of insane when you actually take the time to talk to people and you realize that everyone is kind of in the same place. Nobody really is any better or any less off. Everybody's constantly trying to do something else, or not some, maybe not something else, but something more. And no matter where you are in your life, that is just the prevailing thought of most people.
All we're
Yeah,
trying to
and it's
do
kind of
now is help steer
that
that
grinding.
momentum. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. I agree with what you're saying, and um, when it goes back to self, it's kind of that grinding voice in the back of your head, which is you, that's constantly saying, "Okay, come on, you can do this. This next task isn't that hard." It's always your own voice guiding the way, but now we're interacting with others on a level that we haven't experienced before.
Like I think about that a lot, you know, the fact that this technology was just not available 10 years ago. Like what we're
Yes.
doing right now, it was impossible to be done just 10 years ago. And the amount of
Actually, bro,
stuff
we're
that
in 2022. I don't think 10 years. Let's call it realistically
No, no, no,
20.
no,
I
no,
think
dude. No, no,
it's
no. Like
getting
10 years,
like
dude. A mobile phone streaming to like what
USA.
700,000 people in a single day. That's what
Yeah,
Uncle
okay, no,
Becky is doing.
it's fair. Okay, I will
Like that
retract
was
that. That's
impossible
nutty. That's
just 10
nutty.
years ago. Yeah, dude, it's bonkers. It's bonkers.
It's
And you
impossible.
know, like we're yeah, it's literally it was impossible. It still feels impossible, and yet it's happening. And like Uncle Becky is
Somebody needs to write a
basically
book on that.
the books are getting written right now. Uncle Becky, we're living the pages.
Dude, that's something that's like all these recordings that we have is literally video memoirs, video documentation of what your life is and who you are, and you're putting it out there to literally be immortalized.
Mm.
What do you mean? Why are you giggling, huh?
Christian thinks data gets buried, dude. Like, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, but Melt, think about the human perspective. Not stop thinking about the infinite and the inevitable heat death of the universe." And then when we try and think about the human perspective, he giggles at us.
You are interpreting realms that you have no idea.
Wait, which realms? The internet realms?
No, my mind.
uh,
I can
yes,
only
yes,
interpret as
I'm
much as I
trying
can from
to.
a single giggle, brother bear.
Dude, I am attempting to understand the complex bullshit that goes on in your head, and it's proving hard sometimes. But I will love you forever because that is what I love about you.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say that I don't believe digital data gets buried, Melt. I do, however, believe that its links get lost and eventually does get forgotten, so to speak, in the backwards, derelict alleys of the internet.
I
So
will agree.
I have a big point why I completely disagree with you. And this is it. On one level, we've never had the internet in the way that we have it right now. On the second level, I agree, again, within infinity, the inevitable heat death of the universe is going to take the computers with it as well when there's nothing more to combust. So even they will die. And in that dying, so will the data with it. But in all of time, in all of human history, it has never been as easy to document, as Johan said, your life in a realistic and an accessible way than it is right now. I know this. Like in 80 years, I would still be able to go back to these YouTube streams. If I can search for them, find the channel, I'd still be able to find them, dude. And that is the truth.
I am so sure that what we're gonna do is we're going to what we did with GitHub, middle this year, where we took a snapshot of every single public GitHub and shoved it in a vault. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna just start snapshotting the internet and shoving it into a vault in space, because
Stian,
Well,
you say 80 years from now you think you'll be able to find this YouTube video.
yep, I think so as well.
Yeah, of course,
All
dude.
right, I will take you both up on that bet.
I bet you $1 million.
I will bet you one slap.
I'll
bet
bet
$1
you your
million.
firstborn son.
No. Let's do this the correct way. I will bet you the law of surprise.
Oh, that might be your freaking firstborn son.
Whatever that is, whatever the thing that happens to be when we can actually exchange when in 80 years, I will bet you that.
You know what? I would actually like want to be on a real note. Like, if we're gonna make this bet really, I want you to give half of your accumulated wealth by the time we're 80 years older. Just to like some sort of good cause. If I'm right,
Deal.
because deal. There we go. Like, I look forward to seeing you there in 80 years, Christian. I'm gonna be licking my lips,
I look forward
rubbing
to
my
giving a
hands
speech
together.
at the charity where you donated such a generous amount.
I'm looking forward to giving that speech, dude. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I lost a bet and now I have to give away half my fortune, but I would do it with a smile.
and you know what's interesting about data being buried is just that, like, through lived perspective, not only are we experiencing and compiling a lot of data, but the sheer amount of data that's being pushed into the internet is really easy for some content to get buried away. It's
Yeah.
not that we forget about it or lose access to it. We lose those moments that were captured.
You're completely
Just-
right. Like, it's
We
a spice.
don't lose storage space.
Dude, the thing is, we're gonna fix storage space as technology progresses as well, dude. It's so, like, we've
Yeah.
been doing that.
Dude, have you seen
We only have so much random access memory right now. We'll get better.
silicon's an actual problem?
My friends, I do think we're gonna end the stream for here, though. Not to cut it short, like Uncle-Becky, we would actually want to have you on for a full stream. Like, I regret not being able to have you here. We had some good chats today that I think you would really have resonated with. Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah,
even a moment
that's excellent.
with us.
Before we
Yeah,
leave,
no problem.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. Please go, Uncle-Becky. The time difference is a little hard.
Yeah, no, I appreciate having this time with you guys, and with a little bit of preparation, I'll be able to make a whole show. But I'm grateful for any time that I get with you.
Thank you so much for doing it on such short notice
Thank
as
you,
well,
Uncle
man.
Becky.
I want to say that even just the short interaction and getting to see your description has made me feel better, and it has uplifted my spirits. And just getting to see a goat stuck in a fence and realizing that there is infinite amount of consciousness happening on the other side of the world in daylight.
My light
Is-
buddy.
Just
My
Dude,
freaking light buddy, dude.
Thank you.
Yes.
It means a
Just
lot.
doing our part, right?
Yeah.
Uncle-Becky, thanks so much for joining us.
And thank you, friends, for listening. Like, this is you doing your part as well. You're experiencing this consciousness with us. We appreciate you.
Y'all have a
Well,
blessed day.
Thank
God
you
bless.
too.
Have a
love and
wonderful
peace
day.
out there.
Love and peace to every single person. Goodbye, everyone.
Adios, muchachos.
See you next week.